Hello, everybody. Bernard here. Thank you for popping in to say hello. I wanted to take a minute and just touch base with you all. I haven't had an opportunity to do a live stream over the last couple of weeks, and yes, a lot of it had to do with the situation that had been going on here in my home. So I figured I would touch base, come on, say hello, maybe take some questions, and tell you a little bit about the shows that are going to be coming up. So this is not going to be a full out grow show. As you can see, I'm keeping it pretty casual with the background. You can see the kitties in the window. And not dressed for it appropriately. But anyway, I just really missed you guys, and I wanted to come here and say hello. I see a few of you on the chat. Let me say hello to Burning Spirit and Becky Duncan on YouTube. Hello. Let me just double check something here. Yes, by all means, feel free to leave a question in the chat there, and I will see it. I just want to make sure that we are streaming to all the platforms. And okay, my Wi-Fi has been very wonky lately. I'm feeling a little slow and sluggish. Nope, we're good. Okay, that's what I wanted to see. Wonderful. Okay, so about I guess it was 2 weeks ago I came on and did the show about living with an addict and an alcoholic and how that's been kind of geez, what can I say? It turned my life upside down. It's been really hard for me to focus. As a matter of fact, I had stopped taking clients for a while because I wasn't feeling um, I wasn't feeling as connected as I normally am. And what I mean by that is connected to my higher self, my guides, and the universe. So I didn't think it was appropriate for me to do any types of healings or anything like that. The good news is that I am feeling like myself again. As of tomorrow, I am taking clients again for shamanic soul retrieval, healing, counseling, all the things I used to do prior to this drama starting. And I don't mean drama in a bad way. Life is full of drama, just some are better than others. But I did have to, last week, I did cancel the Ostara ritual because I did have to ask my best friend to move out. Apparently, they had disappeared again, and I kind of just said, I can't do this anymore. I'm sorry, I can't do it anymore. I love you, but you need to move out and you need to find somewhere else to live. And I need to move on from the situation. I'm sure those of you that have lived with an addict or an alcoholic might know what that's like. It's quite kind of hard, trying to coming to terms with the fact we cannot control their behavior. It's not my choice for them to live a sober life when they have the disease of alcoholism and addiction. So I had to step out of the picture by moving them out of my life. Over the last week, though, I'm happy to say I've been, of course, attending Al Anon meetings almost daily as well. I've discovered this wonderful organization called Recovery Dharma, which is a Buddhist based group dealing with these types of issues for friends, family, for those who are in addiction, for those who are codependent, for those who might have eating disorders, whatever your situation is, they approach it from a Buddhist point of view. And I really appreciate that. There's a lot of meditation going on, so I really like that. But with that being said, I had a wonderful weekend this weekend. I asked actually, someone had suggested to me to do a small Ostara event at my home. Some members from my group and whatnot here locally in IRL just asked me to do a small ceremony. I really wasn't up to doing ceremony or leading a ceremony, but I did invite several people to come over for a spring rebirth renewal celebration, and we had a potluck. We had some cocktails. We watched some great concerts, concert footage, and everybody had a wonderful time, including myself. I what was I going to say? Oh, Sunday was relaxing. I didn't really do anything. But yesterday, I did get back to writing the shows. As I mentioned the last time I was on a couple weeks ago, I usually like to write my shows out about 2 months in advance. Um, but I did not have it in me to do it during all this craziness that was going on in my life. So as of yesterday, I was able to write a couple shows. I do want to point out, and I'm actually, this is kind of an announcement. Back in the spring of 1992 is when I did my shamanic vision quest and met the emissaries of light, who have been my guides in my life ever since then. So I am going to be doing a special 30th anniversary celebration show. I cannot believe it was 30 years ago that my life changed completely and everything I thought about reality was completely ripped out from under me, and started pursuing my mystical training in full force and with all seriousness. And yeah, so I would like to go ahead and just put that out there. We will be doing a 30th anniversary show of meeting the emissaries of light. You guys didn't meet them probably till about 2008, 2009, when the first edition of my book came out. But since then, I put out several editions. The last edition is probably about 2 years old now, or will be 2 years old, I think, this spring. But I will be doing that. But that's not going to be next week. Next week, what I'd like to do is I'd like to go through a little bit about what the Grove show is about. Again, this isn't a Grove format show, even though it did have the intro. The Grove show is about meditation. The Grove show is about spells, intentions, uh, self empowerment, and just inspirational work and inspirational talk, as well as creating a wonderful community, which we have done. So, next week, what I'd like to do is I'd like to go deeper into um, I guess the dynamic, the steps, whatever, the biology, for lack of a better term, of intentions and spells. I've done shows on how to do a spell. I've done shows on how to do intention, but I'm going to kind of bring those two together, and I feel that this will help you as regular viewers of the Grove for when we do our intention. So you'll kind of understand them a little bit better, and you'll get much better results. So I look forward to that. Um, Anyway, so I see a few of you on the chat. Let me go ahead and say hello. I think I might see a question. So, hello, Anita on YouTube. Hi, Marion on Facebook. Hello, NYC's most ICY on YouTube. Good to see you. And hi, Shelly. How are you? Good to see you on Facebook. Um, let's see what's going on here. So, Burning Spirit Light is asking, to do magic, it goes intention, belief, focus, and a rhyme. Oh my goodness, you pretty much got it. Yeah, and that's what we were going to talk about next week. I'll go into a little bit more detail on that, but um, I don't want to get too much into it because I do want to do it next week. I will say that belief, focus, and rhyme. Well, the intention for me would be the words. Uh, the belief to me and focus would be the visualization aspect of it, and then just a chant or a term or a rhyme to kind of raise the energy so you can release the energy. And that's what I will use them for. And again, we're going to go into more detail about this next week. So he also writes, I am also trying to learn more about magic because I don't think the knowledge I have from video aren't enough. Can you give me a tip or to start learning more about magic? Well, it depends on the type of training you're looking for, or if you're looking for knowledge or books or things like that. I personally feel that books are a great foundation. They were for me. They kind of give you the theory of it, maybe not so much the practice. I like my basic books that I love are anything by Scott Cunningham. Buckingham's Complete Book of Witchcraft is a great book. Um, and quite honestly, I learned a lot by reading magical novels. And what I mean by that, Aleister Crowley wrote a great novel called Moonchild. It's one of those that's a story, but actually gives you the how to's in the story. Dion Fortune had some great books on magic that, again, was presented like a novel, but there were magical lessons in the delivery of it. So those two are excellent. But oh, I'm sorry. I believe it was wait. Crowley's was Moonchild. I believe Dion's was the Sea Goddess, or there's several of them that are really good that she wrote. If you're looking into formalized training, by all means, many of you know I am an instructor for the Grace School of Wizardry and Witchcraft. I'm in the Department of Ceremonial Magic as well as the Department of Divination, and the tuition is very reasonable. I believe it's only like $20 a month, but that's like a 4 or 5 year journeyman degree. So it's like a full like going to college to learn magic. Um, but you can go at your own pace. That is greyschool.com, GREY school.com. You can go check them out. If you are looking for more of an apprentice type thing, I would say go find a great coven that would take you in, or a magical order that will take you in and kind of train you. I do offer one-on-one tutoring, for lack of a better term. I will work with an apprentice, but I don't call it an apprentice. But you can schedule sessions with me, and I will teach you all I know and give you personal instruction as well as assignments that you'll need to do, and we'll work through it, piece by piece, one at a time. So there's a lot of options out there what you can do. I find that reading is a great place to start, but the practical knowledge really comes from experience. I will say that in my training, I was trained to approach it like a scientist, because to me, magic is, as they say, science that is not yet discovered. And so I would journal everything I did, any kind of spell, any type of working. In the beginning, I don't do it much anymore, but in the beginning, during my training, I would, write down the day of the week, the time I did the working, what was the weather like, where were the planets uh, at that time, the signs and the astrological aspects. And then I would write what I did and what the outcome was. How did I feel? What senses, what sensations did I get? And then that way I could go back to my journal and look and see how well something worked and how well it didn't work. As a matter of fact, I do, and I don't think I've ever said this for the Grove, is that with our intentions, it's probably a good idea to keep a journal for your intentions. Uh, as something as simple, and I still have mine somewhere. I don't have it near me to show you, but like a little blank notebook, like a little one, nothing too big. Just writing the date and what the intention was that day. So let's say next week we're going to do an intention, and you decide your intention is going to be to, I don't know, have your house cleaned. Just something simple. So you would write down, April so and so, intention is I am living in a clean home. Something as simple as that. And then that way you have the opportunity to go back and to see what was successful and how quick they may occur. You will find, I have found, I have found that the more we get the experience, the faster those intentions come back to us. It's amazing when we actually have the focus and the passion. And I will say, again, I'm kind of going to next week's material, but I'll go into it again next week. When you have the passion and the emotion really backing it, like this is happening, there's nothing that's going to stop this from happening, you're going to find that the intention really manifests very, very quickly. But again, the universe may step in and kind of change things, and the momentum of the energy might either be impeded, sped up, or completely canceled out. But it's fair to say that 9 times out of 10, my manifestations come rather quickly and pretty much as I expected. So, hello, Kelly on Facebook. I'm so happy to see you. And Marion, yes, experiences are very, very important. But if anybody has any other questions, please, by all means, leave them in the chat, and I will get them. I'm gonna just hang out and chat with you guys for about another 10 minutes, and just kind of connect. I feel like I haven't been connecting with you guys in a couple weeks, which I haven't. So, but well, while you guys think of any questions that you might want to ask me, hi Noctor on YouTube. So as I said last week, I did have to have my best friend move out of the house, and I'm reclaiming the home. And it's kind of, how should we say, bittersweet? No, not bittersweet. All that anger, all that sadness, all that resentment kind of left me last week. I got through that. You know, when we go through something traumatic, how that record keeps playing over and over in our head, that cycle of imagery and whatnot that just keeps playing over and over in our head when you're dealing with grief or something traumatic. And that kind of stopped over the weekend. And now I've just really been focusing on getting the house back together. I've been planning how I'm going to be moving from one bedroom to another bedroom. I'm moving into my best friend's old room. I'm like, you know what? Whoever moves in here doesn't need that energy. But yes, of course, I will be doing a full cleansing of my house. But I haven't gone to that yet. I got about a month or so before I'm going to start looking for a new housemate. But and so I'm excited about moving into a new bedroom. It's interesting how just the little shift of energy um, is empowering and healing. I posted something the other day, and it said that a witch doesn't try to fix problems. A witch fixes the energy around a problem, and the problem fixes itself. And that was something I saw. It was a quote by something that I was reading, and I shared it, and it really hit me as so profound, and that's kind of been the theme of the last week or so for me. But what a difference! What a difference that makes. Yes, new moon, absolutely. And full moon was what, last week? I don't know. All the days have been blending together for me. But yes, of course, Kelly, I'm going to be cleansing the heck out of the entire house. I've um, I've got it scheduled in my calendar of when I'm going to do the cleansings and when I'm going to do the. I normally don't do this. I use when Okay, so now I'm going to go into a little bit more magical training stuff. There is a ritual that we do called the Lesser Banishing Ritual of the Pentagram. But I do not do that for the cleansing of a house. Why? Because I find that it completely neutralizes all the energy. It's intended to be done in a magical temple or in a ritual space, the place where you do ritual, whether it be a room, whether it be a grove out in the woods. But it's intended to kind of like zap everything. It's like the Clorox bleach of cleansing, and I try to stick with natural stuff. But it does neutralize everything, the bad and the good. So I don't normally do that. I feel it's time for a clean slate, though. So I am going to be performing the LBRP here in my home, as well as my regular smudging and misting with Florida water and everything else that I do. And as you saw in the video that I have out there, how to cleanse, neutralize. I'm sorry, how to cleanse your home. But so April 1st is the new moon. Thank you. And that's, boy, what day is that? The 1st. Friday. Yeah, I guess I could do a Friday night then. Very good. Okay, so we got a question. Can magic do supernatural things, like make things happen? Um, no, that's a good question. I'd like to think that magic doesn't make things happen. And that kind of goes back to what I'm saying about the energy around the situation. For me, magic is about manifesting something. So, intention, focus. When you say supernatural, I think that all magic is supernatural. Um, and I'm trying to be very careful here because a lot of people have this idea. I had a I had a woman who was in my coven about 15, 20 years ago that we literally had to ask her to leave the coven. She was a part of the coven for 2 years, but she kept complaining about why can't she shoot sparks out of her hands or why can't she fly on a broom. And I was like, okay, the essay, first assignment I ever give a covener when I'm training them is that they have to write me an essay. What's the difference between real magic and Hollywood movie magic? And she did that, but she still wanted to be able to like float and fly. And I'm like, that's, unless you're like an avatar type person, that's completely, um, completely evolved to that, eighth dimension awareness. That's not really going to happen. So I'm a little weary when I use the word supernatural, but yes, I believe that magic is supernatural in the sense that we create change in conformity to our will. And when I mean will, I mean spiritual focus. I can go into deeper about that, the difference between egoic will versus your higher will are two very different things. Never do a spell to hurt someone, never do a spell to make someone fall in love with you. These are all from the ego. Self defensive magic, that's completely different. I did self defensive magic 2 weeks ago or a week ago when I had to ask my my best friend to leave the house using black salt. Black salt is a great self defensive magic tool. Black salt, for those of you that don't know, and I'm going to talk for a few more minutes and I have to go, but black salt is the embers or the charcoals left from a ritual fire. So I have a collection of charcoals, and what I mean charcoals from the wood that was burning in the ritual fire. I've got a collection from Samhain. I got a collection from Beltane. I collect it after we do ceremony here, and so each of them to me has a specific energy. Uh, when for example, I needed my bad news best friend and roommate to move out of the house. I picked the Samhain uh, ash, embers and mixed it with sea salt and drew pentagrams on the doors, on the front sidewalk. And the intention is to repel them to want to leave. It's to protect the house that no negative or evil energy or self destructive energy is no longer allowed within the property, within the house. And it was funny because all the neighbors are like, "Did you do this, or did someone do?" I'm like, they're like, "Oh, you did this for protection." I'm like, "Yes, I did." uh, yes, reactionary magic is never good, and 9 times out of 10, it will backfire on you. Uh, Self defensive magic is a little different though, because for me, the emotion of fear and concern for your safety is a good emotion for self defensive magic. But as far as like doing it when you're angry, no, self defense should not be done when you're angry. Just like uh, taekwondo or martial arts or anything like that, that type of energy is not intended to do harm. Or that type of energy cannot be controlled properly when we're in a state of anger. It's a better way of saying it. But yeah, I agree. It's best to do things when you can be proactive, have thought it through, and whatnot. when it comes to that. Why is this thing yelling at me? I'm sorry, the control panel is telling me my bit rate is too high. Oh, bad dreams. Okay, so that's an easy one. That's a real easy one. I have a tendency, especially when I'm feeling emotional or anxious or anything like that, I get nightmares. Um, and actually, for a few years, about 3 or 4 years ago, after I had a medical emergency, God, more than that, in 2016, I had a medical emergency. And I don't know if it was all the anesthesia from the surgery and the meds they had me on and all that stuff, but I was having crazy nightmares, horrible, what do they call that? Like sleep paralysis type nightmares where I couldn't get out of it. And I'd wake up and I'd still feel frozen. I I did some work with another local shamanic practitioner here, and she reintroduced me to Florida water. And I was like, wow, okay, I use Florida water. In Miami, we all use Florida water. You know, down there we have Santeria and Voodoo, and everybody used Florida water. Uh, at least the Latino aspect of the magic down there always used Florida water. Sage was more of a pagan Native American thing. But prior to me getting involved in Wicca and shamanism, I used Florida water. My mother used Florida water. So what I'd done, and actually I have it right here. I will show you. I got myself a little bottle with a spritzer, like on eBay for like $3 or something like that, and I mixed it. I filled it about 3/4 of the way. This is a little empty because I do use it often. I mix it with about 3/4 of Florida water. Then, because of the fact that it is nightmares, I will put in some lavender and some frankincense. If you want, you can put in some crystals into the bottle, and then put a little bit of filtered water just to fill it up to the top, and then you just shake it up, mist it all over the bed from 3 feet above where your head's gonna sleep, all over down to the foot of your bed, and I won't make guarantees, but if I could make guarantees, you won't have nightmares. If I could guarantee it, I would say you will not have nightmares. But I haven't ever had a nightmare ever since I started missing that in the area of where I sleep. From the head down to the toe. And I even go as far as using the number seven. So I do 7 mists starting at the head of the pillow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, just going down the length of the bed. And I do it from high up because you want to get the whole aura aspect of the bed. But yeah, it's a great. Yeah, Florida water is a. They call it a cologne. Florida water is a cologne, and it usually comes. I'll show you the bottle. It's the most common brand. It usually comes like this. I don't know if you can see that. But it's Murray and Landman, and you can, if you live somewhere where you have a Latino culture, usually there are stores called Botanicas. You can get it there. You can also order it online. I get a case of it on Amazon for like $15. Well, a case is like 3 bottles, but you can get it real cheap on Amazon. You can get it at like a Botanica or something like that, or if they have like voodoo shops, depending what cultures are nearby in your town or city. And then yeah, you just pour it in a spray bottle, an empty spray bottle, and use it. Yeah. Well, it's used for more than nightmares. It's used in just about every Caribbean type ritual spell. Well, depending on the spell, but they usually use it to like ward off the evil eye or any kind of like black magic or anything like that. So it's used for protection. Used for protection. But that's funny. Someone said I'm wearing a racist necklace. Yeah. Bye bye. But that's funny. Anyway, okay. So I hope that answered some questions. I'm so glad to be able to sit and chat with you guys. It's been way too long, way, way, way too long. Um, and by the way, I did block the person on the chat because I was offended by them calling this a racist necklace. This happens to be a pentagram, and it is the symbol of my religion. So that's not very nice, and that's why you were blocked. Look it up and find out what it is, because I'm not going to go into the thousands and thousands of year history of what a pentagram truly is. Anyway, I had a great time. It was nice seeing everybody. Remember, next week I will come back with a full regular formatted show like we normally do every week. We'll get back to the meditations and intentions, and we are going to talk about the proper steps. Like I said, the biology of an intention and a spell. Followed by the following week, we'll be celebrating the 30th anniversary of my first contact with the emissaries of light. Anyway, it was great chatting with you. As Sophia is saying hi, no, she's not, but I'm pointing to her. I will talk to you soon. Have a wonderful week, everybody. Before I forget, how can I forget? Um, so many of you have been so helpful with me as far as giving me um, great advice. You know, people that have been dealing with people that may have been dealing with addictions and things like that, or family members, people that have supported me in more ways than one. Somebody was sent me an office chair from my Amazon wish list, so thank you. Some people have made some donations to help me cover the bills that my roommate slash best friend left me with. So I want to thank you, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart that this transition, this big transition in my life, is going very, very smoothly and quickly back into a positive place because of your support. Thank you, everybody, and I hope you have a wonderful week. I love you, and I will see you all next Tuesday at our regular time. Bye bye.